In order to find the perimeter for any shape, we really just need to add the lengths around the outside. So for this rectangle, we could add 12 plus 12 plus 7 plus 7. Let's write that out. Feel free to use a phone or a calculator here, but those guys will add up to 38. So that is the perimeter for that rectangle. You could think of it as the amount of fencing needed to enclose that space. Or you could think of it as you're a security guard and you're in charge of securing the perimeter of a building. No bad guys allowed. But we're only going to walk around the outside, so let's label those. We're not walking through the building, so we're not going to use 3. Add the outsides, that'll give us 20. And for that last example, well, we're not going to use the 4 again, so adding the outside, we get 30. So that's it. Perimeter, if it's got some nice straight edges here, we can just add around the outside and we're good. You don't need the formulas for these, but if you want to see what that looks like for the rectangle, let's walk through that. You want to label the length and the width. We could call 12 the length, 7 the width. Then you're going to change those values there. But it's just a way to consolidate what we've already done. Because we have 2 12s right there, 2 7s right there. We're going to add them up. We're still going to get 38. So totally optional, but you don't need the formulas. There is one shape where you definitely need the formulas though, and that's a circle. Because they're going to give you either this length here or this length here and ask you for the circumference, but the circumference is the same thing as a perimeter for a circle. So if they give you from the center out that length there, that's the same thing as the radius. Therefore, we're going to use that first formula right there. Let's grab that. We're just going to change R to 10 right there, and let's plug it into the calculator. This is the one that we'll use on the GED, by the way. So we'll do 2. The pi button is right on the left side there. They're next to each other, so we'll multiply by, again, the radius, which we're changing to 10. Okay, enter. 20 pi, that is our circumference for that first one there. For the next one, you run 1 lap around the circular park. How many miles did you run? Since it's the outside, it's the circumference, but we're given the distance all the way across. That's the same thing as the diameter. So we're going to grab that formula there. Then it's going to be pi times the diameter, which is 2. So we'll do pi times 2. Let's do it. Pi times 2. It's a bit anticlimactic because we just get 2 pi. But if you use the button above enter, that's the same thing as 6.28. So that is how many miles we ran for 1 lap. So as long as you know the difference between what you're given, then you'll know which of these 2 formulas to use. Okay, let's look at another one. Terrence is fencing in his backyard for his dog, Dr. Shrimp Puerto Rico. Wonder what he's got his degree in. Chain link fencing costs $260 per foot. How much will it cost total? We know we're talking about fencing, therefore just the outside of the shape. And you can add them in any order you want. I usually do counterclockwise, so we'll do 12 plus 20 plus 13 plus the top and 60. So that's how many feet of fencing we need. But each foot costs $2.60, so we'll go ahead and multiply by 2.60. That'll get us a grand total of 156. So not too bad. It's not as expensive as we thought. And Dr. Puerto Rico, he's got himself some personal space. Okay, this next one I think of as the Utah problem. Now imagine you just moved into a new space. Not only is your cat suspicious of you, but also the place you moved in. So she's got to check out every nook and cranny. So we want to find out how far the cat walked. Don't get it confused with catwalk, that's something different. But notice we have some missing sides here and here. Let's highlight the one on the left. In order to find a missing side, just look at everything else that goes in the same direction. Because then if we slide that 3 feet right over, that 16 feet over, they're going to fit perfectly right there. So that missing side, 3 plus 16, is just 19. Then that top right one, that missing side, we'll look at everything else that goes flat across, left to right there on the top, there on the bottom. And we could say 9 plus what will give us 14. That one's got to be 5. Or you could do 14 minus 9. That's another way to get the 5 there as well. But either way, we're going to find the perimeter, add around the outside, and that'll get us a grand total of 66. Quite a journey for a little 7-pound cat. Now they could give you one with X's and Y's. We're still finding the perimeter. We're still going to add. In this case, we're going to add all the X's together, and that's called combining like terms. If there's not a number in front, it's always a 1. And we're just going to add all those numbers in front of the X's there. So 1 plus 3, 4, plus 2, 6. 6 plus 5, we get 11 X's. Could be A, could be C. Let's get rid of B and D. Same thing for the Y's. Let's highlight all those. We'll put our 1s in front of the ones that don't have something. But then, if we do 1y plus a negative 1y, those are just going to become 0. In other words, they're going to cancel out. So we could just say 2y plus 3y. We have 5y's. So same thing as A there. And one last example. What is the perimeter of a square if it has an area of 36? If they don't draw the shape, drawing the shape can help to start. We have an area of 36. That means the bottom and the right side, for instance, those two are going to multiply to 36. But it's a square, so they have to be the same length. They each have to be 6. That'll multiply to get us the right area. But we want the perimeter, so we'll just add all the way around the outside. That'll give us 24. So that is our perimeter for this square. If you look up the formula in the formula sheet, it's just going to tell you 4 times the side length. That's, of course, going to give us 24 that way as well. So that's it. These are all the different types of perimeter ones that show up on the GED. Good luck. You got these. We'll see you in the next video. Toodles.